Hello, everyone. Hello, family. Hello, viewer land. This is Nathaniel Thomas Fort coming back to you with uplifting and encouraging men. This is another episode of my podcast, on my weekly podcast to you guys. I really wanted to take the time today to just kind of share with you how I'm feeling and also to share something with you, another part of me sharing, so you would know who you're listening to and get to know me a little bit better. It was funny the other day, I was speaking with a young gay male, young black gay male, and he was just asking me, he was like, tell me about your coming out story. And I was like, what? Like, and I've heard a lot of people coming out story, coming out from, their life of what they thought was being heterosexual to identifying as gay. And first of all, I want to tell all of the listeners, the viewers, that to make that decision to come out and to stand in your truth of who you are identifying to the world that, something, I'm somewhat different. I am not this person who's the same sex, who are the opposite sex relationship. I identify as a same sex lover. And I think that is very tremendous to someone to come out and tell the world who they are. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a coming out story. I have always been who I am. I didn't know at the time that I was standing in my truth. Now, I will tell you, growing up in small town in Alabama, Dadeville, 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 smaller town, very religious family, very extremely religious to this day. And as I go more into this story, me sharing this with you, you will understand. I've learned on being on this earth at 45 years old and 9 months, you don't owe anyone anything. You chose to share that about yourself to your loved ones, to the people that are around you, to let them know who they are loving or getting to know. It is a choice for you to do that. I'm a firm believer you don't owe anybody anything. As sure as you were born, you will die. I believe that. The fact that you take the time and let people know, or they coming in contact or having a relationship or whatever with you, you're allowing them to get to know the part of you. I think to me that is very personal. Who you choose to love, how you choose to love, what your definition of love is very personal. But as we are engulfed in on these relationships with people, family members, friends, and I would say family is defined to me. It could be the blood family that you have. It can be the family that you create. It's different from me. And you're going to understand what I'm saying as I keep sharing this with you. I'm going to be very transparent. My family, they love me. They love me the best they can, but do they approve of my lifestyle? Who I choose to love? Who I choose to marry? No, they do not. I still love my family. They're my blood. But that does not mean that we have to have a relationship or kinship. Just as I gave you the same respect to acknowledge what you showed me, how you love, who you love, whether it's a man or woman, same sex, opposite sex, or whomever. I thank you for allowing me to be close to you in that way, to get to know you. But I don't render any opinion on who people choose to love and be in relationship with and marry, lay down with, go to bed with. That's not my business, because I feel like I did not get up on the cross and die for anybody. So you don't owe me no explanation on that. And in that same token, I expect the same energy. But we have to understand we live in a world where we have people like my parents that was definitely born before me, definitely in a different time, definitely in different scenarios in a small town, small area. it's a trouble for them. It has been a trouble for them. And I told them, that's your problem. That's not my problem. I am still who I am. Who I decide to marry or go to bed with is my business. Just like I don't ask you what you do and who you do it with. I give you that respect because at the end of the day, like I said, I don't have a heaven and a hell to put anybody. But I match energy with energy, meaning I meet you where you are. If you have a problem with me, my gayness, me having a husband, me having 3 dogs, 2 turtles, 7 fish in my household, and if you have a problem with my belief, with my nails, all of that, that is not my problem. That is your problem. And based upon how that goes, we don't have to have a interaction. We don't have to get together for birthdays, dinner, bridal showers, birthday parties, funerals, and all of that. We do not, because I respect you not respecting me in that sense. So you need to respect me and not interacting with you. Because at some point, my husband's gonna come up. How I live my life is gonna come up just the same as yours gonna come up. I don't make opinions on people's life and livelihood, what they do, how they do, who they lay wine with. That is irrelevant to me. That has nothing to do with you as a person. If I love you, I love you. If I want to spend time with you, I want to spend time with you. Now, if anything happens and I don't want to hang out with you or spend time or have a relationship with you, I don't. And I will let you know, like, hey, I don't like the way you're moving. Hey, you don't respect me as a black gay man. And that's okay. And to be honest with you, when people are upfront with me about that, I'm cool with them. I got respect for them because they told me how they felt. It is not my expectation to turn anybody, to change anybody's opinion. Every time somebody cross over to being gay, I don't get a new laptop, I don't get a new TV, I don't get a new microwave. So love who you love, be who you want to be, not like me, not want to deal with me. All of that is fine. That's not hurting me. That's not stopping my bag. That's not allowing me to go to sleep peacefully at night. That's not changing anything in my life. That's your opinion. That's your point of view. That's the way you feel. Now, if that's effed up, that's on you. I just know you missing out on getting to know an amazing individual. That's what I know. Do I love my parents? Absolutely. My siblings? Absolutely. Nieces and nephews? Yes. But they have chose to not partake or be a part of my life because of who I am, way I carry myself, whatever the problem is. Like I said, I respect them for that. And I respect them enough to know that we can be an hour, 2, 3 away from each other. Or when I was 8 hours or 10 hours away, 14 hours away, even better. I'm just a little closer now. But do we get togethers and do all that stuff like that? No, we do not. I'm just being real honest, real transparent. But I still love them. And I know it's a lot of people that feel that way in this country, and that's okay. That's not my problem. My job, when I say my job, my reason for existing is to meet people where they are, to love them regardless of them not liking me, not loving me or whatnot, not want to have interaction with me or my husband, my family, the people I chose to be my family. That's okay. Like I said, I can deal with a bigot who is a bigot. I can deal with a racist who is a racist. I can deal with a closed-minded person who's closed-minded. Just be upfront with me, and I can handle you accordingly. Just that simple. I can handle you accordingly. Now, is that all my family? No, there's people in my family. Like, there's one person, my older sister, Selena, and I'm mentioning her name. Hey, Selena, if you're listening. Me and her have been friends since I was introduced to this world. When I came to be, I was always her little brother. But our relationship, I'm like the big brother to her, my big sister. Like, I feel like I'm the bigger, any kind of way. We have a amazing relationship. Through all the things I've been through in my life, my sister, my best friend has been there regardless. The ups and downs, the lows, all of that. I mean, growing up in our little small town, I thought my sister and even my brother, I'm not gonna mention his name because, I just thought they were just the most amazing people. I looked up to them because I was the quiet, chunky one with the big lips and the thick jaws and the brown reddish color. So I looked up to them. They were my little heroes growing up. They used to get on my nerve a lot, but I looked up to them because they got to do everything I wanted to do, but couldn't do. I had to be the mature one. I had to be the brother's keeper to everyone. They got to do all the crazy stuff and say all the crazy things and get in trouble and all that stuff. But I had to be the stable one. And that was okay. That was a role that we had to play in growing up. But my sister, my older sister, we have been extremely close, and she's my biggest cheerleader with all the things that I've gone through. But to go back a little bit, growing up in that small town, and I want you guys to understand something. Growing up in Alabama, it was hard. It was majority white people in control of everything. Black people, we had to either be their servants, to clean, take care of their house, watch their kids, all of that stuff. And my mom and my grandfather had to do that. My grandfather was the yard person. My mom was inside because she was lighter skin and whatnot. She learned a lot. My grandfather learned a lot. They taught me how to be a caregiver, how to be a servant, how to work and all that stuff. As well as I learned by going to school and college and all that stuff, other ways to make it as well. But I learned both way of doing things, having and not having. And I'm glad I learned that from them. But growing up as a brown skinned, chubby boy with big lips and a smart mouth, I had a slick mouth. I'm gonna be honest, I had a slick mouth. I had to learn. When I say I had to learn how to close my mouth and listen. Over time, over maturity, over getting in fights, over getting my butt whooped, spanking and stuff at home and whoopings, I learned. It was hard, but I will give this to my family. There was no instructions. There was no book. There was no nothing for them raising a child like me. Quiet, sensitive, would give his heart to anybody that was gay. My family knew that. They knew that. They protected me in every sort of way they could. They had fights, they had arguments, they got called in the office, they lost jobs, whatnot, all to protect me. And I'm grateful for them for that. Because it taught me that I grew up with some great blood, some good genes, strong genes in me. My mother and my grandfather raised me, so I had the best of both worlds. I had that old time way of thinking and living off the land and making it. Then I had my mom. My mom was a very courageous, worked her way from the bottom up to get to what she had and to raise us and to take care of us as a single parent. But raising a boy that was gay, it was hard. They taught me how to toughen up and how to carry my own and how to make sure that whatever I felt, I stuck it in my pocket. And I had to keep that in. And I grew up that way. Fast forward into when I was in high school, did I get picked on, bullied, all of that stuff? Yeah, but I learned how to fight. I learned how to, I kept me sharpened pencils in my backpack, in my little zipper pouch. Because if you came to me or if you said something to me, you were gonna get some sharpened pencils all up in you. That I was taught, my grandfather taught me how to be a man, and I had to, and I still to this day carry myself that way, gay or not. But there was something that I did in high school. I became the first male cheerleader in Alabama. I had dance background. I had a dance teacher that taught me from 7th grade all the way up. So my love of dance was first, and then cheerleading came after that. Cheerleading was the after effects of years of dancing and whatnot. So that's ultimately what got me out of that small town, and Alabama and up north. But I had some amazing people who was pouring into me. My family, I had a great dance teacher. She's gone on to glory, and there's a lot of stuff that she taught me that I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. things like my gift will make room for me. Whatever you do, give them hell. Whatever space you're in, utilize all of that space. It doesn't matter if you're 5 feet or 6 feet. Feel that space that you're in. So she taught me all of those great things. And don't back down from no fight. Either you win or you lose, but you fight. So she taught me all of that, not just only dance, but life and politics and how to navigate my way through Alabama. And understanding that people in power and those who were not in power, I had to learn all that stuff. And I'm glad I did, because it really has helped me through this journey of life. But when I decided to go out for cheerleading my junior year, I told my mom, and my mom's like, what? She said, Junior, I know you can do it. I know you can you kick harder than everybody I know. And I was kicking freaking light bulbs out of the ceiling. That's how high I was kicking. And I was just natural talent and practice. When I was upset, I would dance. When I was upset, I would go into a different character. Those are things I learned, and it learned to help me later on in life, and how to, doesn't matter what situation you're in, how to walk in a room and command that room. Those are things that I learned. And, how to walk with your chest out, how to walk with grace, how to, be light on your feet. All of those things I learned in dance and cheerleading. But when I decided to go out to cheerleading, I remember speaking with the cheerleading coach. No, I told my mom. My mom was like, you always like to shake things up. And I do. I'm guilty of that. She said, listen here. She said, this is not going to be easy. She said, these white folks going to have a fit. And the black people. I said, yeah, ma'am. I said, but it's what I want to do. And she's like, look, pray on it. Pray on it. Go to bed, pray to God about this. And if you still feel the same way in the morning, I support you. I sign off on it. I said, okay. Yes, ma'am. Prayed on it, went to bed. I think I had a dream or something about Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, like the pom-poms or whatnot. And I was like, oh, okay. I really want to do this. So I told my mom the next day. She said, okay, go ahead and talk to your advisors. Our grades had to look a certain way, and of course mine did. I talked to the cheerleading coaches that we had at that time. I remember, I think she was Vicky Waters, Miss Waters. She was my biology teacher, and I told her during the summer that I was thinking about doing it. And when I told her, oh my word, like, she just lit up. She's like, what? She's like, first of all, hold on. Can you really do it? I was like, yes, ma'am. I said, you can ask some of the girls that were on the squad last year and that I take classes with. I also have been taking dance with them for a long time, since we got in high school. She said, now, if you're good, she said, I got a feeling that you're good. She said, you really want to do this? I was like, yes, ma'am. She was just enamored. She said, okay, don't say anything to anybody. She said, let me do some checking and all that stuff. Then she checked with the current coach. She was the junior varsity coach. She had to check with the current coach and the school. And I'm sure it got to the school board and all that stuff, that tryouts coming up, there was going to be a guy trying out. Not just a guy, a black guy. And then I went around and started asking the girls that was on the squad, my friend. They were like, absolutely, Nathaniel, we've been taking dance together and let me go ahead and preface this. They were all white. Everybody was white. I can literally remember the last 20 years before I went out and made the squad. I remember only 5 black cheerleaders, females, to this day. And then I came, and that made it 6, and I became the first male. So it ended up happening, but with that happening in that small town, there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of meetings that had to be had. There was a lot of scrutinizing. There was a lot of, everybody had their eyes on me. And being 17 at that time, having everybody, the community, There were conversations had, and this stuff I found out later, where my mom went and she said, if anything happened to my son, I will own this high school. I will own the whole town. She said, if anything happened to my black baby. And that was something she and my grandfather always taught me. No matter what you do, where you go, always remember you black. And you're a man. And you tall. And you got big lips. And you got a smart, slick mouth. And that's going to make you a threat to a lot of people. That is going to make a lot of people hate you. That is going to, if they hear your name, there are going to be some altercations, some misunderstandings and problems. And it was. A lot of people were forward. A lot of people were shocked. I remember vividly, once I made the squad, the games participation, people were coming to the games more because they wanted to see this black boy cheering with these 11 white girls. And we were a great squad. Now, did we have some problems throughout it? Yeah, we did. The coaches made sure I was protected. If I had to go to the bathroom, there was an officer going to the bathroom with me. If I was leaving a game, or we did away games or home games, my parents, nobody knows this. I'm sharing a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know that happened when I was going through all of that. The town knew, the city council knew, the mayor knew, everybody knew that this was, they didn't know how this was going to, how the reaction was going to be. They didn't know, but everybody was protecting. Everybody, I kid you not, people that hated me, that hated my blackness, my lightness, they made sure I got 2 and 4 okay. They made sure that every game, every football game, we would go our ways. Some of the girls would go home. Some of the girls would go out to dinner with their boyfriend or whatever, smooching, whatever they did. I couldn't do any of that because I had police riding behind me, making sure that when I left that gym or that football stadium, I was going directly home. And I had a granddaddy that was sitting at home with a shotgun. so there were people watching me at all times. So I didn't get the chance to have really a gay experience per se, because I had a lot of eyes that was on me. And it was, I didn't think about it. I was so happy to be able to do the thing that I was passionate about doing. I was so happy that I was making history. I was so happy that I was able, people with cameras and when mics wanted to ask me questions, how does it feel? Then the guys were like, man, my popularity was, it was already, I went through the rank. I went through the grunt of the 7th grader and moved all the way up. But once I became a cheerleader and once I became the first male cheerleader, I was up here. There were people interviewing me, asking me questions from newspaper here and there. I didn't have a lot of time to myself. I really don't think I didn't get to enjoy my senior year because I was under the microscope. Even the friends that I had in high school, we still are some of us still in contact to this day over Facebook or whatnot, and they didn't know that I had to go through all of that. The prom that I went to, I didn't go to my high school prom. I went to the prom here in Columbus, a whole state away, because I met somebody. I had a high school sweetheart and he lived here. And I was like, I don't want to go to my school prom because I won't get to enjoy it. I'm being looked at and scrutinized and all that. My parents knew it. My parents okayed it. I was able to go to the prom in another state and have that moment because I didn't get to have that. I had people, they didn't know, they knew I was gay, but I was being watched and scrutinized and talked about and ripped apart and raked back and forth over the coals that I didn't get to do anything because everybody was watching me. There were times where I would have to, my cheerleading uniforms and my shorts, let me tell you something, to this day, they can say whatever they want to. My shorts were shorter than the girl's skirt. So they knew what they were doing. They were selling tickets and getting people there. We had calendars and all of this stuff. They mobilized and made money off all of it. Everybody did around. Everybody did. But my mom at the end of the day was just like, look, long my son is good, I don't care. I don't care about rest of around him. As long as he's good, That's all that matters. My mom was not playing about that, and I thank her for that for this day. But in the same token, I never had a coming out moment. Because I was out in the public light. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to travel. I got to leave the state. When I say leave the state, I got to leave the South and move up north. Cheerleading and dance really did help me get out of it. And it put me in an environment and a community where there were other people that were like me. But coming from a small town, I was very, very to myself, tight. I didn't share a lot. I'm better, a lot better than what I once was, because you didn't get a lot of talking out of me unless I really felt comfortable around you. But going back up, looking back over it now, my parents went through a lot for me because of a decision that I made. My grandfather, I just wanted my granddad to see me, doing something that he never could have done. Never. I wanted my granddad to see that. And both of them did, and my grandparents was alive. They got to see that. My mom and dad got to see it. My siblings got to see it. My classmates, the girls that I took dance with, they were like, "Oh my God, Nathaniel, you can dance better than I do." I was like, "Thank you." But I got to put that on a stage where people got to come and see that experience. And like I said, do I go back to my high school? I don't. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It was so much that happened. So much that happened to me back then that I gave up. I sacrificed my junior and senior year. When I look back over it now, there's things that could have been done to keep that going, to kept more male cheerleaders going. And I think the last time I checked, my brother-in-law sent this football picture. He was at one of the high school games locally, and he saw a male cheerleader, and he took the picture and sent it to me. It did make me smile. But we're talking about almost 26 years later. Yeah, believe it, 26 years later. Where what I did opened the door for so many others. And this was a time when I was traveling and teaching cheerleading. It was only for white girls. It was only for white girls from affluent families. They cheered, became homecoming queen, married well, blasey blasey. But for me to have churned it and changed it and went through that door, and well, I didn't go through that door. I just kind of made a door for myself and just went through it, because I was like, I was gonna do it. They couldn't outdance me. They couldn't outperform me. They couldn't get the crowd into the game, whatever. They just couldn't do it for me because they had been doing it. And the numbers, you look at those numbers that they used to have back then before I started cheering, and it wasn't, and I'm not bragging on myself. What I'm telling you was people wanted to see the newness. People always want to see new, strange, whatever. They always. But to see a black guy cheering, and some of my classmates that, I don't want to call their names. I don't like to throw them out there, like throw people out there like that. But I have made some great friends. Like these girls, we look back at it now and we just, wow, we did that. We experienced that. Now to see guys in the NFL tumbling, turning flips, doing toe touches, all of that stuff. When I started, that was not there. But to see it now in the NFL, in the NBA, in colleges, in high schools, on dance teams, Tiger Reds, all of that stuff, to see all of that stuff come after the fact, it is amazing. It is truly amazing. I thank God for the talents that He gave me. I thank God for that opportunity. I thank God for allowing me to put that little town on the map, because it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. Looking back at it now, I'm like, oh my God, like, I did that. I really did do that. And the only thing I wanted to do was cheer and dance. That's all I wanted to do was cheer and dance and just show my talent. And to see all of this years later, 26 years later, it is amazing. It is truly amazing. Now, I know a lot of you are asking, hold on, let me take a sip. I know a lot of you are asking, do I still cheer, dance, and all that stuff? I don't anymore. I do stuff around the house. I used to judge, I used to do tryouts, I used to coach and all that stuff. But to be honest with you, I found other ways of expressing myself. And I'm just glad to see what is happening now, all the cheerleading movies that have came after all those many years. Seeing young people express themselves in different ways, different moves, new moves, moves that we could not do back in the day. And seeing them do those moves now is really amazing. I'm glad to see what a sport have became, because when I started, they didn't consider it a sport. They considered it a hobby. They considered it something that did was cute. We had the white uniforms on. And I kid you not, my shorts were almost 8 inches from my knees. So I was the one wearing the original thought pants, the hot boy summer. That was then, because they had them shorts so far up there. If I bent over, you were gonna see all of it. But we did what we had to do. And could I get in a uniform again? If I went back home and went to school and tried that uniform on, yes, I could still get in my 26 years old uniform that was fitted and tailored to my body. I thank God for that. I can still do that. All the other stuff, the flips and all that stuff, I don't do the flips anymore. The splits, the high kicks, all that stuff, like I said, I do that stuff around the house when I'm working out or whatnot and trying to stay in shape. It's different now that I'm 45. I have to do those things to stay flexible and stay in shape. But before, when I was younger, I was just doing them. And I wish, looking back now, they taught athletes, because I did have to lift weights. I did have to take dance. I did have to take gymnastics. I wish they would teach the athletes and the dancers how to condition your body to take care of yourself when you're not performing anymore. Because I will tell you, there's times that I do have back pains from turning flips and falling and hitting the gym floor, splitting, high kicking, and all that stuff, picking girls up, all of that stuff. I have pains every once in a while, and I do have to, work them out with massages, yoga, all of that stuff to stay in shape. But going back to what we started, if I had to tell anybody growing up being gay, once again, it's not a choice. It's somebody expressing who they are. They're trying to allow you to get to know them, their soul, their spirit. It doesn't define you, who you are as a person. Like I said, I have a strange relationship with my family. I love them, but we don't interact because of they have their own issues with it. I don't have an issue with them, with what they do in their life and who they do it with and who they lay down with. I just ask for the same respect in return. And if you can't respect me in that sense, I can't respect you in that sense. So you stay over here, I stay over here. I speak and go on, but I keep it moving. Because when I know that you had baby showers, birthday gifts, Christmas, I was there for all of that. I only ever ask for those things in return, and if you can't do that, I understand that. I meet you where you are. If you can't give me none, I can't give you none. Can't do it, won't do it. There's other things in my life. I feed those that feed me. I inspire those. Now, do I love everybody? Absolutely. I have nothing but love. I have no hate in my heart against anybody. But what I'm not gonna do is kiss anybody's ass to get along with them, or kiss anybody's ass for them to like me, or kiss anybody's ass just to be in their presence. No. No, not gonna do it. Never did it. I treat myself as a king. I expect you to treat yourself as a king. There's some things I will not do, and that's one of them. I don't have to go along to get along. Don't have to do it. So what I will share to any person who is gay or trying to live in their truth, you don't need anybody to celebrate you. You must celebrate yourself. You don't need anybody to pour into you. You got to do it for yourself, because if you're expecting man to do it, the same people that holler Hosanna, 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 they killed Jesus too. But he still loved them. You got to still love them no matter what. but you gets better. When I say it gets better, you get stronger, you get wiser. I would tell anybody, find those ones that light up when they see you. Find those ones that love you as much as you love them. And if they can't, meet them where they are and move on. My life, as I look through it now, older, a lot wiser, I didn't get to where I got by myself. There were some amazing people that paved the way, that took and suffered and died for me to be here. There were some amazing people that had to stand with me when I was not able to stand for myself. There were some amazing people that had conversations and fights and wars for me when I wasn't even in the room. And I thank them for that, because I could not have done what I did back in 1995, 96, and becoming the first male cheerleader in a small hick town. I could not have done that by myself. I give God the glory for that. I give my family the glory for being there with me and holding me and keeping me, because there were times when I was scared. There was times when I didn't understand. I didn't understand why there were police officers following me, but they were following me for my safety, for me to be able to make it from destination A to destination B. I look back now, like I said, I don't feel like I had a single year, because there were things I couldn't do that everybody else was doing because of a choice that I had made. I do look back and feel like the town should have erected a statue in my honor, but you know something? Whatever. I still have property there to this day, have had it for a long time, so I still pay taxes there. I still have family members there. I've learned to remember the things that broke you. Because when you remember those things, that what happened that broke you, with God giving you the strength, you will be able to find the glue and the tape and the cement to be able to put yourself back together again. So from that journey, from my journey of not having a coming out story and always living in my truth, I've always, I was never a person outward to them I liked. I did it more for the people that I loved, that was close to me, as a protection for them. But as I got older, I was like, well, baby, y'all better get some shades. Y'all better get up on the tree, because Nathaniel Thomas Jr. at that time was going to live in his truth. Now, Nathaniel Thomas Ford, baby, let me tell you something. It's going to get better. They can't keep you down forever. You may be at the back of the class today, but tomorrow you will be in front of the class. You may have been the ugly duckling in high school, but baby, when I go back and look at some of these people that was it in high school and see them now, I'm like, oh, Jesus. And then when I think back on myself, looking at back on myself, I didn't have high self-esteem. I thought I was an ugly duckling. I really did. And to look back now, like, wow, thank you, God, for keeping me. Thank you for putting right people in my circle, in my life, to help pour into me and teach me things and show me that beauty and the things, outward things, are not what define you. It's who you are as a person. Are you able to have an in-depth conversation with a person? Are you able to be articulate enough to tell a person how you really feel about something? I'm glad I learned that. I'm glad. I think back to my dance teacher and the many conversations that she had over the phone with me. I was a type of dancer, I could watch something and I could do it. And she'd be like, oh, you just did a such and such. I'm like, I did? And then she would make me watch, and then I would have to learn things, watch a PBS special and learn some dances off of that and share it with her and tell her the name and go do the research on where that originated from. That was the training that I learned. When I left the South and I wanted to go to up north and dance, I got to see thousands of dancers that was built like me, amazing, tall, that could keep the lights out in the light bulb, all of that. Do roundhouse 360 kicks all the way around, splits, toe touches, pikes, all of that stuff. But I had to leave to see all of that, and I'm glad. Auditioning for modeling shows, for dance shows, and all of that stuff. Coming from a small town, I had to learn how to do all that stuff, and I'm glad I did, because I've learned that no one can sell me better than me. No one can tell my story better than me. No one can fill this space that I have better than me. No one can paint that canvas or tell a story through a dance better than me. I learned that, and I'm glad I learned that. I know in the future, I feel it in the future that I'm gonna get back and dance, so I can share that love with the young kids, because they swear they know it all, and I gotta let them know, no, baby, you gotta study. You gotta study and come from that, because when they put you in front of that space, they're not gonna sit there and tell you anything. They're just gonna tell you to do it. Or that choreographer get out in front of you, and you got to pick those steps up that quick. Just that quick. There's no, ooh, slow this down. Ooh, let me record you, then I do it. No, baby, you got to pick it up and do it. 5, 6, 7, 8, go. So, yeah, I do see myself getting back into it. Because God has been good to me. I can't keep all of this. There's some knowledge in here that other people have poured into me and shared with me, and I got to pass it on. I will. I just had to take some time off. Some time to get over all the things that I went through in my life. But I will tell you, God kept me. He shielded me. He protected me. He gave me time to be vulnerable and to learn from all of that. The being gay, the growing up in Alabama, not having my father there, moving from the South up to the North, having that thick dialect, all of that, and it's right back with me now since I moved back here. It's a part of me. I tell people it's a part of me, and when I call you sweetie and darling, I really do mean that. It's just my upbringing, but in the same time, I'm being condescending if you get on my nerve. Yes, sweetie. Yes, darling. But you have to know the difference between the two. So, in wrapping up, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. I hope you guys are being actively engaged in your mental well-being, because during this time, there's a lot of stuff that is going on and challenging us and fighting us. And when you don't know who you are and whose you are, it makes it very difficult. You are in the situation that you're in your life because you chose to be there. It's a choice. You can leave, you can move, you can get out of it, you can get help, you can surrender to God that you need Him and ask for repentance. You can change. I do believe in rehabilitation with every person, with any person. There's another way. There's a better way. You're not stuck. You're not just there by chance. You're there to learn. Either you learn the lesson or you keep living it. I had to learn that. I asked God, please give me the strength and knowledge to learn this lesson, because I do not want to keep repeating the same lesson and not getting it through my head, through my heart, through my mouth, through my actions. I wanted to be better. I didn't want to lose the time that I have here doing the same crap. Like I said, love is easy. You can't love and hate at the same time. You can't love and be ignorant at the same time. You can't love and think everything that you do and believe is right. You got to be open to change, because we are all different individuals with different walks of life, different experiences, different beliefs. And we all are worthy of it. Love. But through love, I give people access to me. Through love, I give people distance. Because if I didn't love you the way I'm not going to hope and pray that correction happens in you. But I'm not going to be sitting there trying to change your mind. But I'm going to love you enough to give you enough distance to do it. And if I see that you changed and want to be a part of my life, I'll embrace you back in. But all of us have to be met where we are. So guys, please take care of yourselves. Know you are a king. And if there are queens listening, know that you're a queen. Walk in that. Trust that. Know that. Today may not be the day that you feel it. It may be tomorrow. But please know that you are. And know that you're loved. And know that you're important. Thank you guys. Be blessed. It is my blessing to share it with you guys. Love you all. Bye.